Thanks for joining us here today. PlayStation VR is something very near and dear to my heart. I mean, Skyrim VR, one of my favorite experiences this year. Resident Evil 7, right up there at the top of my Game of the Year list. But I think what's so interesting about this medium is that it really affords a lot of new and interesting experiences you couldn't get any other way. And one of those experiences involves comedy. So I thought it would be fun if we could invite some friends in here to talk a little bit about what it's like to make comedy games in VR. So please welcome Justin Roiland from Squanch Games and William Pugh from Crows.
Hey, whoa, the mic's on. How's it going?
Justin, William, thank you for joining us. Look at these rock stars.
Oh, come on.
Excellent.
Oh, Sleepy stars.
Yeah, indeed. So, gentlemen, first of all, I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Accounting Plus. It's official. It's coming to PlayStation VR. And it looks to have received quite a bit of attention in that sort of transition.
Yeah, I mean, and the plus.
That plus.
Not there for nothing.
That's right. So.
It is plussed.
It's got plussed up. So.
It's 200%.
Let's make it really clear. It's like 200+%
Yeah,
content.
easily 200.
The
You
word
could go
plus.
up to 30, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't crunched the numbers quite down to the exact percentage, but that's what we're going to do after this.
There's a degree or a...
There's a curve, a chart.
What are different kinds of degrees? There's
the
centigrade and Fahrenheit.
Don't forget Kelvin.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what the game's about, is degrees.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
pluses.
compelling, yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of pluses in it. But no, go ahead. What were you going to ask? Sorry, we're being dumb.
Not at all, not at all. Please, be as silly as you want. I was going to say, let's watch that new trailer.
Oh, yes.
The king is dead. The north wind howls across the wastes, and with it comes dark tidings. The king is dead.
Fuck you! What are you doing here in my place? What are you doing in my place? Get the fuck out of here! You get the fuck out of here! What are you doing in my place? This is my tree world! Well, who are you? How did you get here? This is my crazy tree. Get out of here!
Is this accounting? On PlayStation VR?
Yes.
We need Satan to get here soon!
Bring in the death thing!
Thank you for cleaning up my mess. I am so happy.
Oh, you didn't even know my name.
Whoa, what the fuck?
You gotta keep that shit on. You said it, child. Come on, man. We're a gang. Yeah.
Time to die!
Yeah.
You gotta keep my mom safe.
Hey, don't forget about me.
There's the plus.
Yeah.
I love that trailer. Honestly, one of my favorite trailers here from the Game Awards and PlayStation Experience this year. So super crazy, super awesome. William, I thought I'd start with you. Tell me a little bit about Crows and what it is that you folks do.
Crows is a team of complex people with complex feelings about things. We got together first in about 2014, me and Dominic Johan, my art director and co-founder. And then just recently this year, we've blown up to 10 people, and we make narrative games, very artistic, very intellectual.
Sophisticated stuff.
Yeah, it's complex. Not everybody can understand what I'm doing, but if people have seen a lot of these things, they'll be like, okay, I see what.
You have to have a very high IQ to understand, right? Yeah. That whole thing.
Well, yeah, and then we brought that forward into Accounting Plus.
Yeah.
Which you need to be very smart to understand.
And you've worked on some really interesting games over the years. I mean, the Stanley Parable for one. Tell us a little bit about kind of your design philosophy and how that all kind of comes together.
My design philosophy is take away as much stuff as you can to think about, and then try and make something funny out of something that you can't fuck up. Like if you got a battery and a place to put that battery, and a cooling machine and a phone.
You're still gonna have people not knowing what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you do that, people still might not get it. So,
Yeah.
you know, can't imagine putting any genuine gameplay into my games. I'll be a walking simulator till I die.
Justin, you've got a rich background as well, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and what you're up to with Squanch Games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I'm exhausted. But TV stuff, you know, Rick and Morty and other unannounced things. Thank you. Geez, easy. No, I'm just kidding. and then yeah, like the game stuff is incredible. We've got a bunch of stuff cooking that we can't announce yet, but yeah, VR and just emerging technologies are, you know, in concert with gaming and narrative. I don't know what happened. I think something clicked in my brain a few years ago. I got a Vive kit early. I got the PSVR the second I could get my hands on it, and all of it is just being in a game like that is something I dreamed about since I was a kid. You know, I never thought it was going to come. to give you the really dry, boring answer, you know, like the holodeck on Star Trek Next Generation. I hated that show. It would it would be the death of all the cartoons, you know, in the afternoon. I'm like, no, the cartoons are done. And then an episode with the holodeck came on, and I was like, what? Can I swear?
Yeah, sure.
Like, what the fuck is that? They're in a fucking fake. Sorry, it's very early for me. They're in a fake fucking room. And I remember just like, I'm 12, so I'm thinking about like, I would have sex with girls in there. And I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, you know, I'm not a pervert, but I was just like, that's the 12-year-old mind for you. And I'm like, I'm watching this fucking show. And then I was like watching that show, and it was like, there were episodes that had nothing to do with the holodeck, and I was into Star Trek, but whatever. All of it circles back to today, where it's like, oh my God, we kind of are sort of close to the holodeck now. Like we actually, and it seems like all the hardware is just moving so fast in a good way. And you know, the fact, the ability to be involved and actually make content I'm super lucky to be able to do stuff like this, you know, with people like William and his team. So yeah.
Stop it.
And then our team at Squanch Games too. Like we just have, it's just a bunch of great people making really fun stuff, and you know, we're led by let's have fun. Like let's. We're not forcing anything. We're making ourselves laugh. We're being silly. We're obviously making stuff that we think is good and that we want people to enjoy and actually not suck. But at the same time, we're not hampered by the stress of like, okay, this has to be perfect. And you know, it's more just like following our bliss and just having a blast. And I mean, the original accounting, what we did the lion's share of it in like 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it was insane. And then
it out, finding out answers to questions we didn't even want to know we had.
Yeah.
Well, how did you two start working together? I mean, what kind of drew you two together?
Mutual fans, and then also he lied to me and said he worked at Titanfall Games when I was in the Titanfall building. I realized I was in the building where Titanfall Games, Respawn.
Yeah.
Sorry. So Respawn, I'm in the Respawn building. And I'm like, holy shit, I wonder if I tweeted out, I'm like, does anyone who follows me work at Respawn? I'm hoping. I'm like, at the time I didn't have that many followers on Twitter. And then William's like, I do. I work at Respawn. And then
he followed me. I got the follow.
Yeah.
Up
and I didn't put it together.
Step in the,
at the time,
in the ladder of this world.
I didn't put it together at the time that he was Stanley Parable, which I was a big fan of.
Yeah, I was just a horrible.
And he lied, and then I'm saying, hey, I'm literally in your building, like right now. I would love to meet like everybody, you know, anybody.
It was at this point that I thought, oh, I've got a problem with my plan.
And then he came clean, and I'm like, oh. But then then I realized that he made Stanley Parable. I'm like, oh, well, this is a great connection in and of itself. So then we continued talking, and this was before any hardware had shipped. This is like, you know, I had tried the Vive. I tried it the week after they announced it at GDC in 2015, I believe that was.
Yeah, that's
and so I was right there at the very beginning, and so we were just talking about all kinds of stuff, locomotion. How do you, I mean, just everything that everybody who's digging into VR is talking about, you know, right now. So, and we would just Skype. He's in England. I'm in LA, and we're just Skyping and talking for hours, and then that eventually led to let's game jam, let's make something crazy, which became accounting, and then Accounting Plus
The legend continues.
is a whole nother thing.
The return of Jafar.
Yeah, the return
That
of
was the-
Jafar.
that was the other title.
That was gonna be the other logo, but then we were like, Jafar isn't in it. Also, that could we don't want to confuse anyone because
It's very
it's
confusing.
a different Jafar, not the one you're thinking of from Disney. But anyways, yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, and we also had to cut Jafar from the game. That's another reason that.
we probably we probably shouldn't talk about that. So
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the game itself. I mean, what is it that you do in this game? And I think we actually have some footage that we could show here. But tell us a little bit about like how the gameplay itself works.
Yeah, I mean it's a bag of moments, really. I mean it's you're an accountant, and which we think is a very noble profession, accountant.
yeah, it's pretty honorable.
If you think
It's been
about
done
it,
for a
like
long time.
every one of you guys comes across an accountant, whether directly or indirectly at some point in your life, where they're
So-
crunching numbers and they're doing your taxes or helping a tax person figure out your things.
But before we could let anybody play accounting, we knew that we'd have to give them a test to make sure that they were smart enough to play it.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
this is. This is the
Yeah,
best.
so you can see you've got to rotate around.
Yeah, and
Appreciate the game from its multiple creative angles.
it's kind of like saying to you, hey, like you're about to be an accountant. This is an important job. Are you up to the task? Let's find out. And then you runs you through the through the test, and
Now, what happens if I'm not
Oh,
smart
the
enough to
new
get through this
headset has
part?
no
you're
gravity.
gonna
by
have
the
to
way.
go online and research what if you hit a wall here, you're you might need to. You might not be a gamer, possibly. This might be your first video game. You might be grandma if you can't get past the tutorial, or the test. Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't say
it's not a
Not a
tutorial.
tutorial. I apologize. But yeah, and then as
You got to clean up your office.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do in this game.
But there's VR in it, so it's the future.
yeah.
This VR
Because
is the future.
it's accounting it's VR accounting, so it's actually not just it's not just normal accounting. It's virtual reality accounting.
I mean, look, I'm just gonna cut to the chase on this. This is a very strange concept for a game. I mean, what? Yeah, I mean, like you're doing accounting
What's
in VR.
strange about it?
Yeah, it's totally normal. This is a common thing.
I mean, how do you even have an idea like this? It's just it's so out there, right?
I mean, we.
This has nothing to do with accounting, like what? Right?
No, when you're in the accounting office, you've got the tree world.
Yeah.
You've got the cooling machine, the battery. You've got the little guy in the tree. They
I
teach
mean-
you all this at accounting.
Yeah, this is all standard.
Standard
first
issue.
year accounting.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Any
Well,
accountants will tell you this is
This is
very,
where we go through.
This is this is actually the thing that the accountants don't want you to know.
Okay.
because You find this stuff out and you're like, I want to be an accountant.
So what's with the guy in the tree? Like, what is this all about?
He's just really upset.
That's tree guy.
He does not like that you are in his space, messing with his stuff. I mean, this is an example of just something that I want to see more in VR, which is like an NPC that's very aware of what you're doing and it's really like focused on you. And in this particular case, he's very upset. He's got a strong personality. He's very selfish. But yeah, he's very
His
aware
needs
of you.
are simple.
Yeah, his needs are simple. Just leave him alone
Yeah.
and go away.
Stop.
Get
touching
out of there.
his
Stop
stuff.
touching his things. And that's basically it. But I love that. I love how responsive he is to all the different things you're doing. He's just watching you from his little tree nook and yelling the whole time.
There's something just refreshing about, I think, this kind of experience, right? I mean, I've never experienced. Yeah, tell us a little bit about this one. I was
So
wondering.
this is
about
all new stuff. I mean, again, the plus, accounting plus. I mean, there's so much stuff in this is, the original accounting was a very relatively, short experience, and it was free, and we got together in Berlin, and we jammed for another, I don't know how many long time, and we figured out all the new all the new crazy stuff for Accounting Plus. And there's a ton of new stuff and a ton of new spaces and areas and a lot of hidden stuff. The zoo level is going to be probably the toughest one for people to find.
We got about 3 hidden levels in. One of them's hidden behind a big door. There's a secret level on it.
Yeah.
Another one.
That one's
Another
pretty-
one.
Hidden behind a big door.
That one will be pretty easy to.
Another one's a bit more difficult, and then the hardest one's the secret zoo level.
Yeah. This
We think a very small percentage of people will.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of work for what ultimately will be a sliver of people that get to experience it. But we figure, you know, leave it up to the Twitch streamers or the whoever to find that. And you know, everyone's probably thinking, oh, the zoo level, 12 hours after the game comes out, people will be in the zoo level.
No.
Nope. Nice try.
Do you think like the streaming
Not gonna
culture?
happen.
You think the streaming culture of Twitch and these other like sort of social media has kind of encouraged developers to kind of squirrel away interesting experiences? Because this is a theme I've been seeing increasingly.
Possibly. I mean, I think it's great. I think they should. It's an incentive for developers to kind of hide weird stuff that normally you wouldn't put time and effort into because, you know, you're thinking about your budget, your schedule, and you're like, okay, so 1% of players are going to experience this. It's not worth it. Cut it. It's easy to cut. I mean, you're always scoping down, you know, and as you develop a game. It's a constant struggle of scoping and budget and schedule. And
But those individualized experiences that not many people get to have is
Yeah.
what makes stuff and the experience unique to you.
What the hell's going on here, by the way? Like,
This is the bone xylophone.
yeah, this
So
is
these
the,
two bone characters,
yeah, they're
skeletons, I suppose.
Siamese bone twins. Should we talk about the cast at all? Like,
sure.
we have so many amazing people doing voices in this game.
Yeah.
My number one favorite would probably be Rich Fulcher.
Yeah, Rich
The Mighty
Fulcher.
Boosh plays one of the gang members.
He's incredible. Cassie Steele is in this. She's amazing. Incredible improv. You would know her from Rick and Morty as Tammy. Everyone hates Tammy.
Right.
Cassie Steele's the voice of Tammy, and then she's now doing other characters in the show. And then Echo Kellum is in the game. He's incredible. You would know him from Arrow, Green Arrow.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, but he's amazing. All really great improv people. This is so good. But yeah, yeah. There's just we got so many good, amazing, fun people that are just all friends. You know, that just wanted to come over and have fun and record a bunch of nonsense. And one of the things that's great, I think, about this, which is sort of one of our, at least you do this a lot. You guys have been doing this forever, I feel like, which is this sort of opt-in kind of dialogue where it's like there's all this extra stuff you could experience. There's a lot of replayability too, where it's like you're not forced to sit there and listen to a long, droning-on cutscene. You can sort of opt in to stay and listen if you want to, but
like there's about 20 minutes of dialogue for this door character. If
Yeah.
you keep knocking.
Wow.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
he
so-
won't shut up.
Yeah, if you want to hear it all, you can, but you by no means have to. Once you figure out the puzzle and how to get past it, you can just keep going. But it's really fun. Like that was the thing that we continued to sort of to do for every room, every space, every section of the game. Just let's record an exorbitant amount of audio that's really funny and weird, and it gets weirder and weirder and weirder the longer you're listening. But by the time we get towards the end of it, everybody in the game is going to know what they need to do to get out and continue moving the game forward. So, yeah. But if you want to just sit around and listen to whatever the hell these characters have to say, you can. So it's very like opt-in. You know, you're not forcing a player to sit through a long, boring cutscene.
William, in your experience as a gamer, was there sort of an aha moment for VR? Like something where you played it? I mean, clearly you're working on VR now, so there was probably a moment where you played some game and you just said, okay, I can see where this could go. I can see the possibilities here. What was it?
That game was actually probably accounting, which sounds like a bullshit thing to say. But it was after about a week or two of working on it, when we had like something together, and I saw like, oh, this tree guy in here, he's saying like, fuck you, get out of my world, and you've got the cooling machine there, and like taking that battery in and out of the cooling machine, I was like, aha, VR is bullshit. It's not going to go anywhere. Like clearly this shit's not going to work. It can't be profitable, and it's just.
And he's been.
We're just
right.
yeah.
He's right.
and I've
we are.
I've remained
Going
in
bankrupt.
VR, doing VR in a way to just kind of
Reckless.
punish myself, really.
Yeah, very reckless behavior.
Like, yeah, I just feel like,
That was the day he realized this is a dead-end road.
yeah, and I've been on
keep
I've
working.
been on that path for a year and about a year and a half now, and
Taking a lot
it's
out
all
of it.
right, you know, it's not too bad.
This is what I have to deal with all the time.
It's, well,
The sad.
we can't all be happy, just
And by the way, if you're not happy, please.
buy Accounting Plus. It'll make you. It'll get all your.
I was going to
worries
say something
away.
else, but yeah, purchase accounting. Get a PSVR headset, and buy Accounting Plus. Take a break from Skyrim, because
Yeah.
you can come back to it. It's 9,000 hours. long.
Skyrim's not going anywhere. But our
Not going to
game-
get deleted from your hard drive unless you delete it yourself, that's on you, not us. Accounting's a small file. How big is the file? What is it like?
It's like a gigabyte.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
compression's
1
good.
gigabyte.
There's a lot of
When I
dialogue.
scroll through my hard drive on my my PlayStation, and I see a game that's 1 gigabyte, I'm like, not worth my time to delete. Too small. I see like 20 gigs, 60. That's when I'm starting to go. Am I playing this? How long? When's the last time I played this one? And then I'll delete it because it's like I need space.
So that's the case for Accounting Plus. Then.
Accounting
It's nice
can
and
stay
small.
forever. It's
It
small.
sneaks under the radar.
Yeah, it's low on the list. You're scrolling. It's like, you have your iPhone, you're scrolling through apps. You're like, okay, I got to take a photo or a video, and you're scrolling through. What crap do I have that I don't use? And then you see those like 512, megabytes or 1 gig. Those are the ones that go. They're done on an iPhone. But when you're talking, 500 gigs or a terabyte, 1 gigabyte, what is that? That's nothing. Get out of here. Leave it alone. it's what is that? 0.01, 0.1?
I don't know, man.
I'm not a
I don't know,
math
it's
professor.
fucking-
I'm not a math professor. Get off my back, all you people, trying to get me to do math up here. Tricked me. Anyways, that was my fault.
That was great. I loved it. Riveting. But William, I know you've definitely been in games for a while, so I think you got to come at VR development in a different way than you come at sort of traditional flat game development, as it's sometimes called. So, what is the approach there? I mean, VR it's just different, right?
What do you mean in development, or do you mean in
Yeah.
accepting something out?
Yeah, I think it's everything, because I mean, there's things in VR, and who here has played VR? Who here has tried VR? Most
All
of you.
three
most
of you.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, it was more than 3.
Yeah.
You couldn't see on
The lights, they're so bright.
massive numbers of hands went up. But
Yeah, I mean, VR, it's just different. There's things that are riveting and compelling when you're playing them in virtual reality that if it was just on your TV set, I don't know if it'd be so riveting. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, you probably have a.
Nah, I was gonna bullshit again.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I had a feeling. For me, I've always been a gamer my entire life, like hardcore. I mean, I would stay up all night playing games. I mean, when I could, and unhealthily so, like really bad. And to the point, I read stories about somebody dying because they had a clot and they're playing for so long and they got up and like actually.
God.
Yeah, and I was like, I was scared for myself when I read that story. That's how bad it was for me. And I still play as much as I can. But I never had the bug to make games until I got into. I had the first Rift, or was it called the Rift, the Oculus? When the first Kickstarter, I was like on top of that, and wish I had the means to invest back then, but whatever. Anyways, but yeah, so I was fascinated by it, and then when I tried, I was already kind of thinking of game designs and stuff. And I think to answer your question, it's that the process is different because there's so much unknown and there's so much new to figure out and there's so much innovation that can be made right now in the space. I think a lot of devs right now are really excited about that. It's like, how do you move a player through a larger environment? So locomotion, which is, I think, a lot of people, I mean, back when we first started talking, that was like the Wild West. And I think now a lot of devs have kind of come up with all these amazing solutions for that. And then now there's all kinds of other ways. Like how do you, like right now for me, it's like, I want to create experiences that put you in a space with another character that really does feel alive and that it's really monitoring what you're doing and communicating with you. And those are the kinds of experiences. And combine that with a nexus of really great gameplay, whatever that gameplay may be, So just tried and true, what works, what's fun to do, what's sticky, you know, as the industry term is used a lot, like, you know, finding that sticky, fun gameplay. But then adding all of the interesting, like, I'm in a weird world now where I can look all around and I can turn around and I'm not in my apartment, I'm transported somewhere else, and bringing characters into that world that are alien or interesting or not. I mean, for me, it's not about like a guy in military garb that looks human and he's sort of somewhere in between the uncanny
Valley.
uncanny valley. It's more about like a really stylized, interesting, you know, character, like something you might see on Rick and Morty, who's like, you know, going on and on to you about what you need to do, and you're like, where the fuck am I? What's going on right now? And you know, no time to explain. Well, we got shit to do. I'm your partner, or whatever the fuck it is, you know. And you're with this character, and you're doing weird shit, and you're exploring worlds. And I mean, to me, that's where VR shines. Like every game I want to play is, I want to explore weird worlds. I want to meet weird characters that feel like they're real and alive, and I want to experience like fun, sticky gameplay. And I mean, if we do our best in those categories, then hopefully we'll succeed with great games that are different and unique in VR, you know, that you couldn't do in traditional, you know?
That's, to me, what's so exciting about it is, you know, we all love shooters, we all love RPGs, we all love, I mean, pretty much everybody loves games like that, but VR to me is exciting because it lets you do things that you might not otherwise do, or make things you might not otherwise make. And actually, on that note, comedy is not something that we see a ton in traditional flat games, as cool people in the industry call them, you know, traditional games you play on your TV. I mean, Tim Schafer,
There are some, though. There are some.
They're legends at that.
I laugh my fucking ass off playing Octodad. Yeah. Like, just because, and it's not even like a setup punchline. Like, it's not like comedy, like, in the traditional sense, but it's just the idea of it, the concept of it, and the way he moves, and the physics, and like the absurdity of the things being asked of you. Like, just bring ice cream to your daughter, and you're knocking shit over, and it's like, it's just like, I literally laugh out loud playing that game. Like, it's fucking hilarious. So there are really good comedy games that are out there, and there's great studios making those games. And yeah, Tim Schafer's another example. Double Fine has been doing their whole catalog is all sort of comedy based, and you know, for me, it's a safety blanket. It's like, I mean, comedy is like the thing you run, you know, the reign of taking things too seriously. You hide under the umbrella of comedy to protect yourself. I can't think of doing anything all serious, and I mean, God.
That would be interesting. I'd love to see you take on like something super serious.
No way. I mean, I would believe me, I've had those moments of like, I want to do a really, you know, serious, like, I want to tell a story. I want to like move people, and then I start. I'm like
5 seconds in, you can't hold it up. See, that's funny though.
It just turns into comedy comes. It's like it can't.
Do you think VR as a unique opportunity though for comedy? I mean, do you think there's unique potential there? Very impressive facial expressions. He's really thinking, folks.
Yeah, I mean, with normal games, you're kind of stuck behind the interaction interface of a controller.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, how do I express myself in this? And you
can't laugh.
You can generate comedy through like Octodad by Young Horses. Like they make the clumsiness of the controls work, and that's where the humor is derived from. But like on the opposite side of that, there are some things you can only do in VR, stuff you can only do with like a body presence that creates just instinctive humor. It's like it's like the difference between books and like a descriptive passage of like two characters talking in a book versus a film where you see that conversation play out. There's some things you can only do in film that will be funny. There's some things you can only do in text which will be funny. And I think the same thing's true for VR and for non-VR games. And like, it's stuff like dropping stuff, a lot of physical humor. Again, you can kind of make your input and output exchange like more fumbly, and like that can create a lot of humor. Like, we do a lot of things with like, I'm awkwardly just kind of stood in a place, either very close to a character, and like you can move through people's personal pieces of personal space. You know, you can make them feel uncomfortable in ways.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you can fuck with.
I mean, one example specifically is like when people spawn into the king's room. They're way too close to the king. I've seen people like scream and jump back, and he's also really kind of unsettling looking and just white, like pale white. And that was a decision that was like spawn them right in front of his fucking face. And I mean, I don't know if that's comedy so much as fucking with people, but maybe it's comedy. I don't
Well, it's
know.
like you were saying about Twitch streaming and streaming of stuff. Like, again, with VR, that works into it. There's a new market emerging there in terms of ways to promote your game. Because like everyone's known, oh, we can use YouTube, people playing our games to promote, our stuff.
And that's why
But
we did the
with
zoo
VR,
level.
Like, so
we were like, let's like get this. Let's like put as many crazy things in the zoo level.
so super cool
I
example.
mean, I swear to God, we had this conversation in Berlin. I was like, if we spent this much time, if we just cut the zoo level and focused all of our energy into just stuff that everyone's going to see on the Golden Path, the game would be probably 5 times as long as what it actually is,
Yeah.
what the original version. But then we put all this time into the freaking zoo level, and we were just committed to it. And the clown is there, and
yeah, you see the clown in the trailer.
yeah. And,
He's like, don't forget about me.
yeah, he's
That's
like,
his line. That's kind of
don't-
his catchphrase.
Yeah.
Or you like in the zoo level, it's a much larger level.
Yeah.
The rest of the
Yeah,
game.
there's
and you're like-
locomotion. It's
You're moving
ridiculous.
about
It's a
and
new
like, he's
system.
like, hey, don't forget about me if you go too far away. And he's
I just
like,
can't believe, like, I don't know. Point me in the direction of another developer that's going to spend that much time on a level that is so hard to unlock and get to and find. That literally has systems that are completely built for that specific space that are not used anywhere else in the game. And there's tons of zoo animals, and there's the clown, and there's all this stuff, and I mean,
It's so weird.
a day-night cycle. There's like a whole.
There's a full JRPG construct
It
inside.
doesn't go that far. But
it runs 60 frames per second.
the whole game runs 60
Consistent.
frame. Like it's a 60 frame per second, guys. Like we hit.
It will never go
It'll never
below
go below
that.
60
Guaranteed.
frames. Guaranteed. That's a huge thing.
We've tested it.
Like you can't say that for
So
a lot
many
of games.
times.
So, what's the secret to making a great VR game? Just gonna put that out there.
Shit, man.
What you
I
got
don't
to do?
know. Ask us when we find out if this is a great VR game from the fucking fans.
Let's pretend you guys know what you're talking about. I think you do, but you never know.
Great
Secret.
VR game.
I mean, a lot of focus listening. I don't know, like
You can't listen to people. People don't know what they
yeah.
People
he's
say
right.
they want multiplayer
Don't
Skyrim
listen.
in VR, shooting out the dragons with their friends.
Don't listen
They don't
to
want
people. Don't focus test. Don't play. Don't do play tests.
that. They want to be in a room
Do what
with
you want.
their biggest fan.
Be really like
That's
fight
an
with your
accounting
team
as well.
a lot. Get in arguments and tell everyone on your team that they're wrong. Be really angry and grumpy all during production and hate everything and yeah, that's the secret, I think. Yeah, just be really miserable and constantly be daydreaming about being anywhere but working on the game. Obviously, I'm being incredibly sarcastic, and those are the opposite of things.
I admire your commitment. Good
to
commitment.
that horrible. Yeah, no, I mean, all the opposite of what I just said is probably have fun and embrace your team, test the game, listen to feedback, and also know if you have a vision that you're passionate about. It's hard. It's a fine line of like, I know that if you'll know this is important, this is going to work, but then also know the things that maybe aren't as important, or with feedback. For me, I kind of need to sleep on it. Like we have a game that is unannounced that we're working on, and we had to make some scoping, some cuts, and it was hard. And it was like those were things that I fell in love with, narratively and whatever. And I got to sleep on it. I'm like, all right, let me just sleep on it. And I'm usually pretty good after a night of sleeping, and I wake up and I'm like, okay. We got to do what we got to do, and then I'll come up with a way to figure it out and narratively, sew those things, whatever got cut, you can narratively like patch that together. But yeah, it's just having fun. Honestly, I swear to God, the best stuff I've ever made was made when I was having fun. This included. Like we had so much fun making this game.
It was a hoot.
It really was. I mean, we were just and the other thing that was interesting about this game is there was so little second guessing. I mean, whether or not that shows in the final product with criticism or not, but like we were just like, I feel like we were just like shot out of a cannon making this game. Like we did not look back. We did a little scoping down. We cut a couple of things, but like But we were just like, yeah, that idea is great. First pitch, great, awesome. Okay, we're gonna do that. That I mean, it was just like we were just whatever was getting spit out was what we did, and it was, I don't know, it was so clear and fun and just quick. But
To jump on the previous point about good VR games.
Yeah.
Like being in the space, like I started paying attention about 2 or 3 years ago to the progress. Like when Valve sent out their first Vive test kit, that was about the time when I started being like, okay, what does it feel to actually play these? Because everyone's going crazy about it. And I think the biggest step forward in terms of VR, and the thing that people should embrace the most, is realizing that a lot of what defines games as a medium is coming from its history, which is coming from times when there was super hard technical limitations over what can be done. And again, like the format of how all the content was monetized. Originally in arcade, you had levels, you had like lives because of coins, and like that's brought forward. But that doesn't always mean that we should stick to those conventions. And the best thing about VR, I think, is everybody's kind of seen it as a bit of a clean break with what should a game look like, what shouldn't a game look like, in terms of like now that you can inhabit a body, it's different. It's like you can create powerful personal experiences for people, and you can have characters that don't talk to like your screen. It's like they're talking to you, and like so much of like what makes us tick and work in real life and our like automatic response to stimuli, like now that we have a way to directly communicate with that and affect that, that is what makes it cool.
Real quick, we only have a couple minutes left, but I wanted to sneak in this question for both of you. Favorite game of the year so far? What's your at present? What's your game of the year?
I mean, it's not a VR game as much as I want it to be. I mean, obviously we're all drooling and waiting for Fallout 4 and VR on Vive, and then we all got Skyrim. So that but mine is the most obvious answer. It's either the new Zelda on Switch or the new Mario on Switch. I mean, those games are
great games.
I mean, they're so good that you're just like, oh man. I mean, you're just like, God, these guys are just masters at, the thing with Mario, or I guess both of the games, they're very light on story. I mean, I guess Zelda's got a lot more going on, but Mario's super light on story. It's the same story. It's the princess is getting kidnapped by Bowser, and added in that he's going and kidnapping, or he's stealing wedding accoutrements for his big wedding. But it's like, there's no story beyond that, and it's like, but I don't even care. I'm just like, and I'm the story guy. I want more. I want to hear people talk. I want to know, and I'm just like, that's. I'm like, I don't even give a shit that there's no story. I don't know. So that's probably my favorite. I know there's other ones that I'm forgetting, but those ones. The new Metroid maybe on the only 3D Metroid we'll ever get. When I say 3D, I mean like 3DS, like turn the 3D up, guys, like turn it on. That's the only 3D Metroid we're ever gonna get, because Nintendo's just moving. They're like, fuck this, no more 3D games. I'm like buying games. It's like not 2D only. It's the system is called the 3DS. Am I the only one that likes it? Am I the only human being that wants to play games in 3D? I even would hold my system all stiff back before they did the new 3D, or, the one that actually tracks your face, just because I was so in awe at the fact that I could look at a screen and it was in 3D. And thank God we got at least one old school side-scrolling Metroid game. But obviously every answer is Nintendo, like for me. So,
what about you, William?
I think mine's going to be a bit of a cheat answer because the game's not out yet. But
bullshit.
No, it's Minute, which is a cool little indie game where it's being published by Devolver.
Yeah, that game is awesome.
And a lot of like
I did see this one. Yeah,
a lot of very good people from the indie scene who've like worked on stuff like Nuclear Throne.
Great game.
On like my art directors working on it, Dominic Johan, and I think like seeing that's going to be on PS4 on I don't know when, but
what about the
early
Switch?
Next year. Yeah, I think it'll be on the Switch as well. But we're at Sony, so I'm plugging.
We're on a Sony thing right now.
Now nobody asked me, but I'm saying for my game of the year, it's somewhere between Nier Automata. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
Great game.
Oh, and Horizon was fucking amazing.
Horizon
Oh, yeah.
is
God, what am I
incredible.
thinking? Oh, my God. What was the other one that I played right before Horizon?
Well, I know you like Resident Evil 7 a lot, too.
Oh, God, Resident Evil 7 was fucking insane. So, yeah, I'm just not thinking. Like, that game, Resident Evil 7 was easily, like, I've always been obsessed with that franchise, and the VR was, I mean, on the what's the beefed up?
PS4 Pro.
Pro, there you go. So I have that, and it's like, I started it on the regular, and then I continued on the Pro, and I was like, oh, this is legitimately better visually. And I played the whole game on the Pro and with people in my, like we were talking about before.
We were talking about this.
So yeah, like play that game with a group of friends, and like they're sort of in the video village, in a way. They're watching it mirrored on the screen, and you're in the house, and you imagine that you guys have some sort of direct line of communication, and you're going in, and everyone's freaking out at the same time. And for me, none of my friends wanted to play. They were like, we don't want to we don't want to be in there. Like, you do that. That's scary as fuck. We're scared enough just watching. So it was a blast. It really felt like, in a weird way, like it reminded me of when I was a kid playing like Nintendo, but like the Friday the 13th game. We'd build like a pillow fort with a TV, and we'd pretend we were, and now it's like we're literally there, where it's like, no, I'm actually in this fucking house, and my friends are on the couch, but it feels like we're maybe communicating through, some sort of, I don't know, headset or something, and I'm leaning around looking down the hallway, and yeah, that game blew my mind. That was like a really, really good PSVR title, and thank God it came out, because we need more big AAA PSVR titles. Like, the more the better.
Who here's played Resident Evil 7 on PSVR?
If you haven't, I swear to God, like you have.
It is
so good.
It is a game changer. I mean, you will. Who's too scared to play Resident Evil 7?
Yeah, that's
in
probably
VR?
it. It's not. It's all right. It's not. I mean, it's scary. It's scary, but it's like it's good. You need to feel that sometimes. It's really good, and you're safe. If you really get scared, just take the freaking headset off, and you're like, I'm just in my house or wherever, my apartment. You'll be fine.
Guys. Fantastic discussion today. Really appreciate both of you dropping by.
Absolutely.
Accounting Plus is coming to PS4 on PlayStation VR, obviously. Next Tuesday, December 19th. You can actually pre-order it right now on PlayStation Store. I suggest you do so. But thank you.
Yeah, pre-order it because it's 20% off right now, so it's actually save money. Get the pre-order, save a little bit of money.
Look at that.
20% off if you do it now.
If you're streaming from Europe, unfortunately, we don't have the pre-order, but it's going to be 15% off for the first 2 weeks of launch.
That's nice of you to do that.
And there's a whole currency, you're going to be fine over there.
I am definitely playing.
I actually don't know that.
I am definitely playing this game over the holidays, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
It'll be a fun break from Skyrim, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
PlayStation